Sir.
Yeah, good morning to one and all, and welcome to the webinar on career options post MBA. I would like to welcome the guest speaker for today's webinar, Ms. Akanksha Rais, ma'am, Senior Manager, Solution Consulting at Duck Creek Technologies, London, UK. Dr. Sunil Dhanaresa, Director of DYPCMR, all teaching and managing staff, and of course, my dear students. Today, the opportunity to introduce the honorable speaker of today's webinar, Ms. Akanksha Rais, ma'am. She's Senior Manager at Solution Consulting at Duck Creek Technologies, London. Ma'am is an experienced solution consultant with over 20 years industry experience. Having worked in different sectors, and ma'am has gathered expertise in technical, business, and sales fields across. Currently, ma'am works as a pre-sales product expert with a top software vendor firm, which provides insurance software to insurers and reinsurers globally. Ma'am has a graduation in computers and master from CAS Business School, London, in finance and strategy. I welcome you once again, ma'am, for today's webinar. And now I request Dhanaresa sir to please say a few words.
Thank you, Gupta madam. Yeah, good morning to Ms. Akanksha madam.
Good morning, sir.
And very good afternoon to all the participants who participated for today's webinar on the topic career options post MBA. So first of all, I would like to welcome you on behalf of Shikshan Mercy DY Patil Shikshan Sanstha, as well as the Dr. DY Patil Center for Management and Research. And I'm sure that your session will help MBA students that what are the career options post MBA, because always those who are aspirants and those who are pursuing MBA have anxiety that what would be the post MBA options would be available, and how to choose a career. So your session also enlightened us as far as career options are concerned, and definitely you will guide MBA students on the same direction. So I request you to take a session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Madhulika ma'am. For inviting me. This is a great thing that the students are doing this. They are spending time to come onto these sessions on a Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock. So there could be several things that they could be doing at this time. But if you are here to attend this, this already shows a dedication on your part that you are keen to do something, you're keen to achieve something in your life, which is great. At that age, to have that kind of enthusiasm is definitely great.
Okay. Yeah, ma'am, you can share your screen. I have opened that option. If you want, you can share your screen.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let me try that.
Yes, we can see your screen.
You can see my screen. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay. So, all right. So, what I'm going to do today is, I'm not going to share a whole lot of, GAN or options, because I know you must be already tired of hearing about career options and thinking about them, and you still feel like there are no solid steps in front of you, right? So I've heard some great sessions, by the way. So I also saw Neeraj sir's session, Ridala ma'am, and of course there's Madhulika ma'am, Abhay sir, Sunil sir, they're all there to guide you. But I get it that it does seem difficult when you are at that age and you have a whole field open to you, but you still don't understand. So what exactly am I good for? You do get that there are hundreds of options out there, but you don't know what you are most suitable for. So I've been in that boat, and I get that definitely. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to start with you and help you reflect yourself a little bit, understand who you are. So we'll go through some of the options. We'll see some of the functions, industries, and the skill set required for multiple industries and functions. But having said that, we'll also go through a few more things. At the end of it, I hope you can make sense of some of what I told you. Okay, so let me just quickly get started. Okay, so what I want to start with here is self-reflection. Okay, so let's start with taking a step back and thinking, how did the MBA really help you? Okay, so did you feel any kind of change when you embarked on this particular journey? Do you think that you had set some goals and you are nearly there and you have achieved knowledge? So definitely knowledge is there. I do understand that during this 2-year course you would have learned a lot of models, gone through a lot of theories, case studies, industry experience as well for some of the assignments. So that is all there. But at the end of it, I just want to stress, put a big stress on the fact that there is no position or role in the market that can be tagged as a post MBA role. Okay, so this journey, understand it well, that it was meant for you to find yourselves. Okay, so to understand your own personality traits. For example, in your own cohort circle, for maybe you were like 150 to 180 students, and you would have some understanding by now whether you were meant to lead or influence people, or you are excellent at your collaboration or communication skills, or you like to put yourself deep down into some small topic and you're not bothered about presenting. You just need to do your own work. It can be anything. So there's nothing called a post management particular position or role that you have to immediately go and apply and get your.
Okay.
Okay,
Laptop lecture message
sorry, somebody's speaker is on, I guess. Okay, so what I want to stress over here is that keep your
Oh,
self analysis.
good doggy. Good doggy. Hard clear.
Somebody called Dinesh, I think your speaker is on. Okay, so what I would say is that I would do, if I was in your place, is that I would always keep my self-analysis mode on. Okay, so I understand it's very, very difficult to understand your own strengths and weaknesses. It's one of the most difficult things to do. Even if you're at 22 to 28 or 30 years of age, or 40 or 45, some people take forever to find themselves and come to terms that, okay, I'm not good at this particular thing, but I might be better at something else. So I would say that keep your self-analysis mode on. Try to think that when I was doing this particular assignment, I was very comfortable at it. It just came naturally to me, and I didn't have to put some additional effort, or think of some other times that when you were doing something else, it really put you into very uncomfortable position, and you were like you just thought that this is not my cup of tea. I'm doing it for this time, but this is not for me. So think of do these kind of realizations for yourself, I would say, and note them down, because we tend to forget. 3 months down the line, we would forget that this was something that I really didn't like to do. This was not something for me. So keep taking notes on yourself. Keep your analysis always on oneself. I would say that helps. And there are psychometric tests in the market now. There are lots of different ways to find out what kind of personality you are, and there's no harm in taking them. I've taken them myself when I was doing my management course. I was trying to find out various options. So I will also discuss a brief on what I've gone through during all these times, and what I've learned in my journey. So do that, please. Okay, so secondly, I would say that you have to treat MBA as an accelerator. So I wouldn't say that now that I've done my MBA, I expect an immediate career growth. I want a high management degree. There's nothing like that. That thing, if somebody feels that is going to be the case, that is very untrue. I would say that. So set your expectations correct, that you were doing this particular course to hone your skills. Getting a high-flying management job immediate post MBA would be like very, very false expectations. So management course with the electives or the specializations that you would have chosen, finance, corporate strategy, or entrepreneurship. So all these subjects they will help you eventually find your right path, and day in and day out they will help you, because they would have boosted your confidence. So you could have the tools that you need when you are doing something in your journey. I think speaker is again off. I don't know if Madhulika ma'am, you can turn.
I'm taking care. Don't worry. I'm reviewing them. Straight away reviewing them. Because it's almost 7th and 8th webinar. They should know the etiquettes right now. But still these people are like, don't worry, I'll take care. You carry on.
It happens accidentally. Yeah, never. Okay. So yes, so you get my point, that it would sometimes take years of experience to climb to the position that you see yourself in. So don't create false expectations for yourself, and don't stress yourself out. Give yourself ample time. If you are already into a job, keep going at the pace, and you will find that there's a difference in yourself. What you were, how you were executing the same function or role 2 years back to what you are doing now. You would realize, or the people around you would find that difference in you, I would say. So I'm not trying to sell MBA here, but this is what it does. It gives you, right? So this is my own experience, that you evolve in your personality if you have gone through this journey, I would say. Okay, so I would definitely say treat it like an accelerator rather than expect some immediate, high-flying positions. Which, if it happens for somebody, it's well and great. These things do happen, but for 80% of the population, you realize your potential over the period of time, because you're a better version of yourself. So it's not just a degree that goes behind your name. It adds value to yourself as a person. So believe in that. Keep faith in yourself, I would say. Sorry, I have 2 screens, so I have to keep going back and forth every time. So then you have to take active steps, I would say. So you might be on a certain journey right now. So I wouldn't say that you've taken a path, so you have to stick to it. So people who are already in good roles or positions and have then gone for their MBA, think about it, whether this is something that you want to continue, or suddenly you do realize that there's something else, in these 2 years that you might be better at. So give yourself that thought, and it's never too late to transition. So I transitioned my career 10 years after I was into semiconductors. So you can always make a choice. It's never too late. But for the people who are freshers as well, do take active steps. So if you think there's a particular industry that is meant for you, look for internships, look for apprenticeships. Their apprenticeships are doing so well these days. There are companies, every field companies, be it banks, be it retail companies, be it consultancies, anybody and everybody, they are creating these apprenticeships where you join them you lock yourself with them for a 3 to 5 year period, or sometimes it might be less. And they take you through a rotation program within their own company, so that at the end of 5 years, they take you ground level up to multiple functions and divisions of that company and geographies as well, so that at the end of it, you are much knowledgeable about them, and then they assign you a particular position, which is management related, and which reflects on all your skills. So apprenticeship is a great way. Look for apprenticeships, and you can go to individual companies and have a look for that. So I did that as well. And if you find something of interest, make application. So And whenever you're making any applications, you would have learned by now that there is nothing called standard application or profile or resume or a cover letter. You always have to tailor it according to the company, the positions, the roles. So research, and there's nothing called over researching. Always learn about the company, their operations, their financial status, their competitors, their global functions, everything. There's just you have to get a deep understanding, and then you sit down with all that knowledge to write down a cover letter of why you think you would add value to that particular firm, and do that. So take your time and apply. And I would say finding any kind of internship or apprenticeship is a job on its own. Finding a full-time job is a full-time job. So dedicate yourself to that job, that you are writing 25 applications in every week at least, if not more, and you're giving 100% to them. So keep doing that until there's something. And there's also multiple ways these days, I would say, that to reach out to people. So networking is definitely, you would have a lot of company events happening in your college or outside as well. If there are networking events happening, invest in them, buy a ticket for yourself, go there, meet people, make yourself visible. There's never can be more networking. It's the term for the era, I would say. So and people who are there, not everybody would engage, but if you keep trying, there are people who would agree that okay, so and so day I'll come for a coffee with you, and ask them questions. Be genuine, be curious about what you want to do and which company and role and position. Show interest, and that's what people want to see, in the youngsters. So if you are keen, if you're showing interest, if you look engaged enough, there's nothing stopping you. So that's what I would say. Okay, so after that, keep yourselves aware. So always, this is one of the big factors, no matter what industry. So there are some generic things to be aware of what's going on, around you. But there's also the particular focused role, function, industry, whatever you are interested in. Keep yourself more aware about them. So, just gather knowledge so that you talk intelligently, show your knowledge. So whatever you speak, it should show that you have something to speak about. Okay. And lastly, I would say be game for experiments. Don't be afraid to try out something. So I was a semiconductor engineer for 8 years. So I did my computer engineering, and then through college, I joined a company in the semiconductor domain. And then I did 8 years after that. There were circumstances because of which I thought that I want to change my domain now, because my companies were very remotely based and it didn't suit me as a family. Because my husband was in investment banking all the time. So I decided to embark on this MBA journey. I thought maybe I need more knowledge to transition my career. And so post MBA, I took up an assignment. Now post MBA was an open field because I wanted to go into an industry which was based out of the city, the London. I was based in London. So I started exploring. And for me, it was, I understood technology a bit because, I came from technical domain. But everything else was new for me. I didn't have core domain knowledge of banking or core knowledge of insurance or mining or anything. So I just took up assignments, whatever came my way. I just made hundreds of applications. And I took up a mining assignment, for example. I assisted some of the people within the mining company, the CEO of that company, in coming up with a report for their global operations around the company. So myself and my cohort, we were a team of 8 people. We did that assignment. So it was a lot of hard work, new industry, pretty much uncomfortable situation for me. But I enjoyed it at the end of the day. And the report was, the company was super impressed by it. I didn't take up the career in that company at the end of it, because there was something else that interested me even more. So I also took up assignment in the insurance industry, which was again another new industry for me. So I took up an assignment with Aegon Insurance as they were, revamping their organization because of the regulations, and that was something that just grabbed me by head and toes. I was deeply interested in it, and I thought that, okay, this is something I see myself working in. And I still didn't know what function I wanted to work in, but I thought, okay, this looks interesting. Okay, so I let me start with it. So I went ahead and did my dissertation on it, which is the MBA, the project that you do at the end of it. So I spent a lot of time researching on the regulations and wrote a report and did my project in it. And after that, I started looking for opportunities in this particular sector. So for me, the story is that it was insurance, but for you, it might be banking, it might be retail, supply chain, human resources. It can be anything. So there's just a plethora of booming industries in the market. So keep looking, I would say, keep exploring, and just see how you get on. Okay. So what I want to do after this is I want to take some of the functional choices with you. Okay. So you understand there are a lot of industries and there are a lot of functions within that industries as well. So let's look at the different functions that exist within the industry, and what can you do to, how can you understand that whether you would be good at or not. So what is your core skill, strength? So let's have a look at some of the options. I would not say this covers 100% of what exists, but let's have a look at some of the main important ones, I would say. So technical, and when I say technical, I don't mean technology. I mean the core knowledge of any industry. Okay, so to do or this or go into these kind of fields, I would say that you need to have a deep interest into a field. Be ready to go into the detail, understand it, inside out, of how everything works in that industry. So if I want to go into, I went into insurance. So the insurance is made up of multiple streams within insurance. So I went into each topic in detail, claim area, underwritings, there's so many options. And I went inside each of them to understand it well and be well informed so that I can execute a function. Right? So you think you are a detail oriented person, and you are that kind of person who spends 8 hours reading into something just because you like it so much and you can't come out of it, then this industry is for you. So and don't think right now whether you want to reach at a particular managerial position. Be ready to invest yourself. So start ground up. There's no harm, because you have gained so many skills. Your career progression will be faster. That I can promise you, because all you need to do is just invest yourself very deeply, learn that particular industry, be it pharmaceutical, be it mining, be it metallurgy, whatever it is. Find out, go into it, and you should be able to talk about that thing for 8 hours to people. Spend that much time. So if that is something for you, think of technical. Okay. Apart from that, there's marketing. So if you have a creative bone in yourself, you think that you are always one of the most innovative persons, in the room. You have presence of mind. You know how to make up a joke and crack it, on time. And generally, you have that witty kind of sense. And there are some personalities, they would know it. I'm not saying you have to go into stand-up, stuff if you're doing that. But I hope you understand what I mean, that, there are creative people, and because in the marketing industry, which is a very fast moving industry these days, only there is only so much space for, people, and people are getting really, really creative about, branding and marketing, and, the technicalities of it. We'll visit again this particular area. So we'll talk in detail, but think about yourself again. When you do your self-analysis, whether you're meant for this field. The next is the sales. So sales is something, I would say it is for the strong-hearted people. So if you think you are a strong decision maker, that You always know whether this is right or wrong. You see things black and white. If you're that kind of person, if you go to a restaurant, you don't say, okay, maybe I'll have that, or maybe I'll see what you want to order that. So sales are the kind of people who know that, okay, I'm going to do this, this is the way to be. So those are, generally those are the main traits of the person, sales. They are always in any of these functions, I would say there are always, what do you say, exclusions. But I'm just talking about the main traits. And also these are the people who are never afraid to fail. So the sales, when I say sales, it is the business development. We are not talking about selling personal insurance policy door to door, which is also kind of cold sales. You start ground up again in any field. But I'm talking about the sales, which is business development. And after having multiple degrees, you would go to an industry and try to do either a product sale or a corporate services sale. So these sales are the ratio of the win ratio generally is 1:75, 1:100. So be prepared to fail a lot until that big win happens. So for that, you need a lot of perseverance. You shouldn't be the kind of person who 5 times, 10 times, if you fail, you get too depressed to even go out there and you think, no, this is not for me. So you need to be very over optimistic. You need to be zealous. And you need to have that kind of strong perseverance that, okay, I have to do this and I have to sell it. So an entrepreneur, for example, which is probably our next stream, is that kind of person. So entrepreneur is a mix of everything. Again, you need to be, you need to be a dreamer and a planner, of course, and you need to be challenge seeking, but you need to be an excellent salesperson. If you are going into entrepreneurship, if you have an idea, we will talk about entrepreneurship in some of the next slides of, what are people doing. And, I know you have had some exclusive sessions on entrepreneurship, but my take on it from my little experience is that you need to be an excellent salesperson as well if you are going entrepreneurial. Apart from being organized, being a dreamer, and, you need to be challenge seeking and all that. And there are some other streams like human resources. Excellent field to go into these days, and be careful that when you think that this is meant for women or this is so and so, so don't go into the cliched ways of thinking when you think of human resources. It is one of the most upcoming and booming industries or functions in itself, I would say, that needs a well kind of rounded personality to be able to the human resources are the culture of the firm. So, they are the face of it, of how the company is being pursued in the market, So it's a very big investment for all of the companies to, spend into human resources. You need very well organized people with a lot of emotional intelligence who understand not only the business, the sales, the market, the trends, the awareness, but who are also positive and who can think ahead. So, you don't start digging a well when you're thirsty. You think of ahead that, okay, 2 years down the line, I'm going to need these kind of people and I need to get them now, get the best talent out of the market and train them for the next 2 years so that they're mine. They work for me and they understand my company very well. And these are the people. So, these are very, very intelligent people, I would say. So don't think of human resources as somebody that, you only talk about employment benefits or recruitment. They are the backbone of the company these days. And so are the operations, the academics. So there are lots of other functions in the industry, academics, for example, it's very close to me. So academics is something that somebody could go into only if they have a lot of experience and they've come after, a whole lot of learning process themselves. Madhulika ma'am, for example, she's great, academic, she's got a great career now. But if you try to understand her situation, she's gone through a whole lot of journey by herself before, trying to spend time with you. So they have a lot to give. and that comes from the experience of their own. So that, and the operations as well. So operations is all, if you're very, very process oriented kind of person, if you're very good in your communication skills, and you're a great mix of understanding how a company should be run, the internal processes within the company of how multiple things hold together, the human resources, the sales, the marketing. So these are the middle box which connects everything together and help them function well. It holds everybody together like a glue. So those are operations, and you need the right kind of people for that to be able to get that whole thing together. So those are operations for you. So you might have known all these options earlier, but just my take on it, that these kind of personalities prosper generally on these kind of functions. There are always things that you could do. And one more thing I want to stress is that it's not that you invested yourself into technology, particular software development, techie field, then you cannot go into sales or marketing or go entrepreneurial. You always explore. So I've been into, I think, 4 out of these positions. So I've performed very technical roles. I've been into operations. I've been a consultant, and now I'm into sales function as well. So there's always things to explore, and you climb the ladder, or you travel around to understand the best fit for yourself, which fits you, your family, personality, your financials. Everything has to fall in place in order for you to excel. So it can be everything, right? So let's get ahead and start focusing on one by one so far. And please feel free to speak up if you have any questions, or interrupt me, because I'm not here to have a monologue. Dialogues are always better. So if you speak up, or if you have a question, don't wait till the end, I would say. Okay. So next is the technical industries. Okay. So these are the different industries I've put on screen here. There might be more, but these are the fields. So when I said that if you are a kind of person who wants to dig deep into a topic and you want to excel, so the function can be anything. You could be a software developer, you could be a mechanical engineer, you could have mechanical skills, you can be a banking core SME, or a supply chain professional, or electrical engineer. You can be anything, but you need to understand a topic very well. So that's the technical skills. In any domain that you work, in any function, this is a core strength to have. If you don't understand things about your own industry, in the kind of company that you're working for, you're no good to them, right? You can't do justice to your role or function, whatever you're doing. So this is one of the things that if you think you have a liking towards a particular industry, start focusing on it and start going deep into it. Just get the head and tail of that particular industry. And knowledge always helps. It never goes for waste. Whatever you research you would have done, so even if you're not working in that industry now, somewhere down the line it's going to help you. So keep, I would say, gather strength about a particular industry. I mean, for me, I have worked in the semiconductors here. I've done my little stint at mining, and I thought it was not for me. But that little experiment helped, because otherwise I would have never known that this is not for me. So don't be afraid to take these kind of plunges where you do a 3-month assignment, for a certain company, and see whether you're good or not. You'll only understand if you go into it, and then you realize. So mining, I thought, no, it was not for me, because even though the topic itself interested and I understood about it, what didn't work out for me was that you needed to be very global for that. So you need to be based at multiple locations for short periods of time. And so there were a few things that didn't work out for me. There were a few more factors at that period of time, and particularly that was I'm talking this about around 12 years back. And that time I had a very young child. I was just starting my family, and there were several factors that didn't work for me, and I thought, okay, this is not for me. But there might be other reasons for you. So the point is that go and explore that industry, check it out, and how to get into this industry. So if you are into something else and you want to try something new, what you would do generally is, go into that kind of company and check out the certifications. There's always something that, for example, in insurance in India, even if you're not into that field, you've done something else for your graduation, or you're working in some other sector in another company, if you want to get into it, look for certifications for that particular stream. So that's the best way to acquire knowledge and to prove to the market as well that you're ready for that industry. Okay. So I would say, like, for example, the IRDA, the CII certifications. So insurance related, I understand, because that's my domain now and I've achieved those certifications. But there are, all of these for the other industries as well. So go and explore, and you would find that in the job profiles of the companies that you want to get into, right? So go into Tata Steel, look for a job profile, and they will say you need these so and so certifications. So look for those certifications, which bodies are doing it. Always get it done from a well acclaimed body that is connected to the government and that the companies recognize. If you don't know how to find that out, talk to the people who are working in that industry. Just LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn is a great resource. I would say that invest in that, whatever monthly membership is there for a paid membership, because that way you can start emailing people and connect to them. Otherwise, it does not allow you to, email random people, only your connections. So, but don't waste your membership on, just sending hundreds of common emails to hundreds of people. Find out the right person that you want to communicate with, and put up a nice formal email that I am so and so, I want to get into this industry. This is the certification I was looking at the job profiles, but would this help? What is your experience? If you ask valid questions like that, people do reply. They think that, okay, this is somebody that I can help. And people who are already, in that industries and established, they always like to help. So don't think that people won't give you time. They might not reply to you immediately within the hour or within the day, but when they find time, everybody's got families, jobs, you understand that situation. So give them time, and give a slight nudge if you don't hear 10 days down the line that I had emailed you. And if you still don't hear back, find somebody else. World is full of people. So don't give up so easily. And your business school helps. And one of the great ways to get help is you're the alumni of the college. So your own school alumni, your own college alumni. So look for the people who have passed out, and if anybody is in that particular domain. So I did that as well, to reach out to people in the insurance industry, or when I was trying to find my job. So I reached out to all sorts of people, from my university degree, graduation, engineering. I tried to find out people who have worked in this industry, or even my school friends, high school, or the other things that I've, job, or your friend circle. Always network and connect to people. Keep note about, who's where, kind of doing what at this particular stage, and that helps. So that's what I would say about technical. That give yourself time, invest, and think which industry like entices you. You feel you can, you have an interest, and that comes naturally to you. I just want to learn about aeronautics engineering, because this is something that I've been thinking about childhood. So give importance to your thoughts, I would say, okay, and your skills. I mean, it's the things that you do naturally. When you take up a newspaper, you don't read all the sections, but there are few newses or sections that you automatically read without realizing. So pay attention to these things. So once again, self-analysis mode, always on kind of thing. So that's what I would say. So this is technical. Okay, then there's marketing. So marketing is a big area which has, developed over the years, and it's onto a new boom, as we can, all realize at this time. Digital is one of the most, recent fields that has come since the last few years, and it's influencing everyone. So if you are thinking about marketing, there is no way you can escape digital marketing. And this is a skill required by people of all the sectors, domains. So those 25 companies that, technical fields that you saw, everybody needs marketing, right? So think about that, how the scope of marketing is that anybody and everybody needs marketing these days, whether it's a person, service, product, whatever it is, they need marketing. And marketing can be done in multiple ways. It can be done in digital, there's media marketing, there's traditional marketing. So if you are planning to go into these kind of role or function, then you need to understand all these ways of marketing. You cannot just focus on one particular thing. You start with the traditional, because at some places you still need traditional marketing. You need to connect people to people. You need to go to their house, knock and call and talk to them, and you need to spread the leaflets by yourself. So that is the traditional marketing. There's media now. There's all sorts of online uh, television and normal traditional television, and all sorts of media. So definitely a lot of social channels. Of course, the Facebook marketing. There's hundreds of social channels, affiliations, television, and then there's this whole digital boom of ways to market yourself using websites and whatnot. It's a whole field in itself. But remember again that whether you have that core skill for the marketing, whether you are that kind of person who don't have to steal ideas from others. You don't look for other companies. What is Pepsi doing to market for some, other beverage? So something that you can just naturally think, it comes to you. If you are that, then you will excel. Otherwise, you'll have to put in a lot of effort, and it would be, kind of artificial to impose yourself into a career that's not meant for you. So there might be people doing it, but they will not rise up as quickly, or they might not realize that potential, I would say, as quickly if they are going into this career. So think about it, just realize what you want to do really. Then there's sales. So we've talked about sales, that whether you have it or you don't have it, if you are a salesperson, you are a salesperson generally from the childhood. You always sell yourself well. That's the first thing you do. If you want to sell anything, you sell yourself. If somebody likes you, they will buy anything out of you. That's the basic core fund out of everything. So think that, I am into sales. Okay, so think of yourself as somebody who we saw the basic traits required, that you need to have the strength to fail. First of all, there will be 100 failures to start with. It's the most difficult thing to achieve, and which is why the sales generally comes at the end of your careers. People who have spent 45 years working in industry, then they go and try and sell that product or service, because it needs all that kind of experience in the life. But there are also people who just know how to do it. A 12-year-old boy can sell you a pen better than a 45-year-old man. So these are some of the traits that you can look for in yourself. And some of the basics of the industry, I've noted that, are you the kind of person who's not afraid to cold call? Cold calling is, considered, it is the basics of selling. Whatever it is, if you have to do it, it is very tough. If somebody else is doing, it's very easy to shut them down. It's very easy to shut down people on the call or on the email, not reply. That's, you're being cold to them. But if you are going entrepreneurial, you will start with cold calling. Trust me, you will call 10 people within that area for a favor, or this is cold calling. Whether they are your friends or not, or they are your acquaintances or not, but you always start with these activities. So also you start being a little bit nicer if you've done it yourself. But this is this I've done the cold calling. I've called up people and asked them if they want to sit down with me for 10 minutes and give me a little bit of insight into what they do day to day. If I was applying for a particular position, and if I had not done that earlier at all, so I was applying for a business analysis role, and I didn't know, I was a software developer and I had gone ranks in that for 10 years, but I've never done business analysis. And even though in the MBA, I learned all the traits and theories and, of all that 7 principle thing and Moscow effect and SWOT analysis, I knew all the theories, but still in a field, when I'm given an assignment, what do I do? How do you do that? I did a bit of cold calling to, talk to people at that position and say, okay, just meet me for a coffee. I'm looking for a job, but I am little afraid to face the interview for it, because if they ask me some real life questions about it, I don't know what I'll do. And they shared their insight that, okay, you start with this and this, you talk to these people, you'll reach out, you look for historical evidence, you look for, what others would have done in the previous projects or assignments, and then you get the templates and you start with things building up. So you have something to talk about then, because you've heard it from people who are doing it day in, day out. So that, that's cold calling. So I've done that. And market research, competition analysis, know your product and service. So if you're into sales, you have to do all of these, right? You need to understand, to talk about yourself well, of what is there in your product that is not there anywhere else. Why should you buy my product? You need to be able to tell people that you can't just sell, every single thing, because you don't know what it means to them. So define the USP, the unique selling point of your product or a service, or whatever it is, right? And contacts. So I'll always say that, develop and cherish your contacts, connect to them and keep connected to them. So even if you're doing well, always, try and see that everybody else is, they are achieving what they are achieving, they are changing careers. Keep track of people, I would say, and keep connected to them, whatever walks of life they are. So I'm still connected to people in my school or my university or my, business school. So you might not connect to, the whole lot of 400 people, but there will be few that you would have made some connection with, and keep that connection on, even if you're, across the geographies or across positions and companies, but maintain that connect with the people, because then it makes it all the more easier to reach out to them in that case. Otherwise, out of the blue, 25 years later, if you just email somebody, 25 might seem a lot to you, but time does pass. So, 8 years down the line, if you mail somebody out of the blue without, any connection, it does catch them by surprise, and sometimes people just forget you. They might have to sit down and actually think of who you are. So maintain that connect, I would say. Okay, and network. I can't stress this enough. Talk to people, connect to them, friends, family, parents, contacts. Just tap into everybody, connect to them as much as you can, and talk to them on every given opportunity that you get. Okay, the next is the human resources. I think we are just 10 minutes until the end. So if there are any questions, keep asking. But I'm going to wind up pretty soon. So it's human resources. We have talked about this. This is one of the most important functions in a company and in an industry right now. So you need a all-rounded skill set. You need to be pretty comfortable in your own body to be able to guide others if you are a human resources person. Okay, so you need, so whatever they say that, it's a very employee friendly culture for this firm, or they have a better work-life balance, or theirs. So there are things about the company that people say, so actually it's the human resources, I would say, who's responsible for that. Of course, the strategy and vision and the decisions are taken by the board and the management, but these are the people who build that. Okay, they have to be innovative and take all these things, prepare for it, and take it to the people to actually get them sanctioned. So they are the people who are very proactive, who keep their own crowd engaged. Okay, so it's very easy. The iteration rate for these days for the company is very high. People leave every 2-3 years. So it's the human resources who maintain the talent within the company. So they engage. Keeping their people engaged is very, very difficult these days. Think about these, that these are the people, and if you want to go into this function, be prepared for to have all these skills, or write all these skills in your profile, and also try to get them. So think about whether you are that kind of organized person. You can do 4 or 5 things at a time. Of course, not everything at the same time. Multitasking is never multitasking these days. You are doing 5 jobs, but you're doing 1 job at a time, 100% of the time. Okay, but you are doing 5 different streams like that. That's real multitasking. So these are the human resources people, and they need to do it, do these kind of things. So they have to be pretty well organized and disciplined themselves in order to discipline and maintain the company that way. Okay, so they set the structure for growth in a career. Okay, so if you are that kind of person, so think about this profession. It's a very, very promising function. And why I'm not talking about the board or the management areas these days is because the people from every walk are into board or management. So it's not particular for, sales or human resources or operations or technical field that goes into the top level management. It's the people from every walk of life. They actually have gone through or spent time with the company or invested in that company, time, effort, money, everything, who reach to that particular status. So if you're going entrepreneurial, of course, you are the CEO of your own company. But if you are working for an existing company and if you want to reach that kind of status, you can be any of these functions and you can reach there. And which is why there's no particular slide in my deck for that. So, human resources person down the line, after spending 10 years of the company, they reach to that management decision-making level, and, they ultimately reach into the board or the chairperson of the company. So it's very much doable from every walk of life if you're targeting that future in your careers, which I'm sure you are. And lastly, the entrepreneurial. Okay, so this is like everybody needs to be an entrepreneur these days. In anything you do, you have to be entrepreneurial in the sense that if you're doing a particular job, you make it your own. Okay, so if this job is being done by 10 other people in that way, it's not necessary you do that. You achieve the target, but you make it your own before achieving the outcome. So that way it's an entrepreneurial option, right? And of course, there's the real entrepreneurship where if you have an idea, you have a service product idea, you take it to the market. I mean, that's definitely that. So that's my next point, which is if you have an idea, So one thing I would like to share here is that ideas don't mean anything. Okay, so you might think that I have a brilliant idea and I will work on it. I will not share it. It might be stolen. Okay, there's nothing like that. If people think like that, they have to think twice. I have to say, they have to consider their thinking. Because if you have an idea, everybody's got ideas. There's a reason why that idea is either not into the market because, it has been there, but it has not worked. Or if it is really, really new, so there might be a chance you have come up with something brilliant. It's actually it doesn't exist in the market. So in that case, I would still say validate it, share it with the people who are in that industry or in, working in that particular region, whatever. Try to share it with people to validate it if it makes sense. Don't be afraid that you have something and people will steal it and, they'll start their own business. No, that doesn't happen in real life. People have their own jobs, they have their own capital, they have their own, shortcomings, whatever strengths. But it's very difficult. You have thought it through, is your idea, take it to a stage, where you can patent it, you can create a business plan. So you have invested your time in it, and for them to reach that stage, it will still take, some investment, some time. So you're already ahead. Okay, so don't be afraid to share it and validate it, because down the line, you will be thankful that you didn't go ahead with that idea. It was nonsense, really. So take time, validate your idea, create a solid business plan. There are lots of templates over the night for creating business plans. Create a solid business plan, and if you need investment, if it's an idea that needs an investment, you have multiple places. There's also a way, there are great companies coming up like Solv, SOLV. Look it out. It's by one of my close friend and relative, Nitin Mittal. So these are the companies which are helping the new budding entrepreneurs come into the market. So if you have a great idea, you need help to come into the market, validate it, or financially you need help, or any which ways you need help to go into the market, reach out to these new helps that are available within the company. Okay. So patenting, investment, time, effort, capital, and there's much more. So going entrepreneurial, it's a big thing in itself, and you've heard a lot about it. I know that, so I won't keep bragging about it. But you understand what I mean about entrepreneurship. Insurance. I wanted to give you a peek into my own industry, but I guess we have only 4 minutes left. But I'll speak just 1 minute about it. That I entered into insurance. I've done multiple functions into it. I've worked as a pure salesperson, selling corporate insurances to the companies. As a broker, I've worked as a consultant in different streams of insurance. I've worked into underwriting, claims, reinsurance, software creation, business analysis. I've done a whole lot of things. There are a few things as well, apart from what I've done, which is actuarial modeling. There's a lot of niche providers coming out, which are helping the insurance industry boom, which are like AI, blockchain. They're all over the place in different industries as well. But insurance, they have a major impact. Telematics, the drone technology. So there's a lot going on in my industry, and this is keeping me a lot busy these days, because in my current job, which is not pure sales, but I assist the sales. So I'm a product expert who knows the insurance software products which the insurance companies need. That's a specialized software, and I help the sales directors sell it. So I'm a mix of business and technology and product domain knowledge. This is what I do. That's my current role, and I feel that after exploring a lot of things, this is something that I'm really comfortable in, and I want to stick to this. So that's me, I think. Madhulika ma'am, I don't know if there are any questions and if the floor is open, so the students can start speaking up if they have anything. But if not, I would say, if you're not comfortable talking on the platform, do reach out to me. I have my email ID shared here. And even though I can't promise you I will reply in day one or, first hour, I will read out. Do DY PCMR on the subject line, so that I know that it's one of the students writing, or somebody from DY PCMR writing. And I'll try my best to see your situation, share your thoughts. If you have a problem, or if you are thinking, if you are on a stage where you need to decide on particular things that you can do, and you have some options and you're not able to decide, reach out, feel free to write, and I'll try to engage and give my time to you. Thank you.
Yeah, students, if you have any questions, you can unmute and ask, or you can write in the chat box, whatever. Yes, students? I think Sachin Patil, you unmuted yourself. You have a question?
No.
I think nobody has a question right now with them.
Okay, no problem at all. I understand sometimes you're, it's difficult to reveal questions, or because these are topics you don't want to talk in front of several people. So if you feel like writing, do reach out to Madhulika ma'am or to me, and we'll try our best to find a solution.
Yeah, actually, we love your session. It was an awesome session, and your career transition story, and of course, your journey that you've gone through in your career is really inspirational. And a lot of us will take inspiration from that. And if you're thinking that we are stuck in a wrong profession, it's never too late to have a transition, right?
Yeah.
So, and your career function choices that you have told, it was excellent. You nicely stated them, and I hope there are a lot of takeaways for the students from your session. And I really thank you for spending your time on Sunday. It's Sunday morning, and I know you're in a holiday mood, but still, thank you so much for spending your time. It was really awesome session, and hope to have more sessions of yours in future. And before closing down, I would thank the president of our Sanstha, Abhay Kotkar sir, for giving us the opportunity to conduct these webinars for students. We have almost 14-15 webinars we are going to conduct, and we have already conducted 7 or 8 of them. So more on Saturday, Sundays is coming for you, students. And of course, the director of the institute, Dr. Sunil Dhanamre sir, I would like to thank him for his guidance always with us. And of course, all teaching and teaching staff. And of course, I can't forget my dear students for logging in and spending time on Sunday. It's really good that you guys are interested. All right, so we look forward for more such participation in future. Okay, so thank you so much once again, and have a nice day, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you very much. Thanks. Bye.